Hello, hello. Hello and welcome back. It's Frantz Kantor here. I'm doing another drawing. I think you'll like this one. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, who are we doing? I'm doing a caricature of this lovely actress here. Her name is Jennifer Connelly. And if you wonder who Jennifer Connelly is, she played opposite David Bowie in Labrynth. There she is as a little girl. There she is a bit bigger girl. This is her in the labyrinth itself. Moral of the story is never tell the Goblin King that his labyrinth is a piece of cake. But that was a great film. In many ways, more popular than Dark Crystals, another Jim Henson masterpiece. There they are together. They're great. She's very striking features, dark hair, green eyes or grey eyes, and this two angry caterpillars on top of her eyes. What other features? She's got a little birthmark or mole or something on her upper lip on the left. So that's some. These are features. These are like landmarks, right? So you have to remember that landmarks are important to not just give you a indication of recognizable personality, recognizable personage, sorry, but also it gives you sort of a placeholder so that you know where things are supposed to go, even in when you're working with a caricature. So here she is in the more recent times. Still very, very striking woman, very striking face. Very iconic. That's her younger. So she was born in 1970. She's an American actress. She made her film debut in 1984 in a film called Once Upon a Time in America. She was in Phenomena in 1985 and then Labrynth, which is a musical comedy, 1986. She was also in Rocketeer, which I remember, Dark City, which I remember. She won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in Ron Howard's biopic, whatever you want to describe it, A Beautiful Mind, which is in 2001, which I must admit I didn't like. I don't like films that make me twitchy, like Serpico. You know, the sort of unreality that besets the main character. She also played in The Hulk, which I also remember fondly as Betty Ross. She was in the horror film Dark Water. She was in Blood Diamond. The Day the Earth Stood Still remake in 2008, opposite Keanu Reeves, which was pretty good. Not too bad. Not the same quality as the 1955 version of The Day the Earth Stood Still. That was sort of, definitely iconic. I watched that every couple of months. And what else? She's been in Alita Battle Angel 2019. And she's in the TNT dystopian television series Snowpiercer, which, if you'd seen the film, is about this train that circumnavigates the world, doesn't stop. It's at dystopian, which is the end of the world. So very interesting. She plays a very cool character. All right, so what we've got here is we've got a few. Let's see some more photographs. She's very, very. She has quite a severe look, I must admit. So I don't know whether that's a great thing for horror films and sci-fi films like this. That sort of severity. Still waters run deep, and indeed, this is from Snowpiercer. Still waters do indeed run deep. This is her in Snowpiercer again. This is her latest film. These are the main characters from Snowpiercer, and this is what she looks like. So the head of the train I love this photograph. It was more or less a contemporary picture, but I quite like the angles and everything working for it over there. This is with Hoggle, the main character, her sidekick in Labrynth, which was a beautiful puppet. Okay, so let's push on, shall we? So I've done a little thumbnail sketch here, and if you want to sort of be interested in the basic structure, the basic shape, I approach things in a very simple manner. So I always start with the simplest construct, which is a shape, right? So sometimes the shapes could be, you know, like that, or a peanut, perhaps, you know. But ultimately, the simpler the better. So I've opted for this sort of nice shape, which I saw from the reference material from the photograph, that I could work with this quite nicely. The simple basic shape. So within that, I'm looking at putting in the details, which is the eyes, the nose, and the mouth in this configuration. Now, why I've linked these three up is because there's muscles that go all around this area, and they kind of form a synergy. They sort of form a rhythm around the nose, the eyes, and the mouth. And that means that they have an important dialogue or important relationship. The dialogue is one element next to the other, how it speaks inverted commas to each of the elements. So the nose refers to the mouth. There are muscles and lines that go around the eyes, that go around the nose and the mouth, etc. They all kind of link up. It's like rivers become streams, become creeks, etc. Roads, all roads lead to Rome. Okay, so there you go. That's the end of my analogies. All right. Okay, doke. So the other thing I want to talk about. So we're going to concentrate our efforts in this T-zone, this mask area of the face. That's where we're going to sort of really hyper focus on. The rest of the elements are arbitrarily placed or exaggerated in terms of size. So for me, caricature is a way of deep learning of a subject. So it's exploration. It's like deep ocean exploration, right? We know that the ocean's wet, but let's go right down the bottom, 10 miles down, and see what we can find. So this is a way of laser focusing on these details. So going all the way down into the face itself with a lot of the elements that we need to be on top of, like perspective and anatomy and light and shade. Speaking of light and shade, it's quite an even light effect on Jennifer's face. But basically, you've got a light source that comes in from the left top right, sorry. So there's a tendency of shadows to form in, sorry, this is wrong. No, it's the opposite. Ignore that. So the light's coming in from above and a little bit to the left. And that means that the shadows are going to come in, but not very severe on the left-hand side from the hair. The shadows on the form itself are going to form on the right-hand side. See how I confused myself there? But basically, you're trying to use shadows to create a three-dimensional form. The reason why I was confused was because the face is quite evenly lit. And she's got long hair, and that's sticking out in more or less in front of her face, so that there's a shadow falling on the left-hand side, which is created by her hair. But basically, the lighting is fairly even, but more or less favored to the left-hand side, So there is a little bit of modeling, a little bit of shading on the right hand side of the face. All right, so I've taken the opportunity to take the thumbnail sketch and sketch it up bigger on the toned paper. So let's get into it. The pencils that we're using are terracotta and what's this? A Tuscan red. These are Prismacolors, which are very soft leads. The other lead that we're going to be using is a white, and that's another color pencil, Prismacolor, and that's a soft lead. And we're going to be using a little bit harder lead, which is this Polychromo, which is a black. So those three colors are what we're going to be using. Brown, white, and black. Right, so that's the method of our drawing, and it's still a drawing. Yes, it is. All right, so let's delve a little bit deeper into Jennifer's features here. Actually, I might just swap for a darker red, perhaps. Now, her eyes are quite, as I said, they're very, very incredibly beautiful. Green eyes, and she's got quite there's a lot of sparkle happening too from the lighting. What I might do is I might try to get the outline. Her eyes are sort of inverted as well, so they're pointing down. So these are things that sort of create this rhythm effect around the face. All right, so let's lighten this shape a little bit. Don't want to sort of chisel out too many things. So in drawing any of these elements, you think about the light and the shade, the perspective, if there's any kind of a shift, the angles, the tilts. So you check all of these things, right? It's not a shopping list. You do it as you go. It's not like a step-by-step. First check the perspective, then check the anatomy, then check... No. It's a very organic process. So it occurs to you in the working process itself. That's the best way to attack it. It's got a lot of light on her eyes, so her pupils are quite small, revealing very colourful eyes. Lighten that a little bit. So usually start with, it depends. I'll start with a black pencil or a brown pencil after I work in the basic structure, basic form. But I just want to try to establish a bit of hierarchy of light and shade. What's the darkest elements and the lightest elements, so I know where I'm working towards. It's also got eyeshadow here, which tends to hide a lot of the anatomy, but you've got to try to understand the basic structure underneath. All right. These are paint pens. Poscas come in different colours, but they're very good. They come in different sizes, and they're really good for establishing like sharp pinpoints of light, which is what we're getting there. Okay, let's was a little bit hefty with the white highlight there. Soften the lids over there. Match the eye, the tilt of the eyes on the other side of the So it's best to concentrate on something that you can, a battle that you can win, or have a good idea that you can win. So really thinking about these tiny areas of battles, tiny areas of detail is a really good method for starting the caricature. Or the drawing, doesn't have to be, it could be more realistic, So you could adhere to the proportions more stringently and less exaggeration. I like exaggeration because it gives me the ability to learn a little bit more about what's going on. So we're still in lockdown in Melbourne, although the restrictions are about to ease, but not just yet. So everything is kind of in stasis at the moment, which is incredibly frustrating, as you can imagine. I don't know whether you're viewing this. If you're in lockdown, you have my commiserations. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But, it's something that we have to face, and in many ways, I'm lucky in that I have this passion for drawing, and these are really fun things for me to do. I love learning new things. I love learning about people, about their faces, and doing a little bit of research here and there. It's nice. She's an incredible. Her roles are absolutely amazing. I was just thinking about not so much Labrynth. I mean, she's kind of second fiddle to the puppets. Even David Bowie is. Let's face it, the puppets are more interesting than the characters. But her other roles, like with opposite Keanu Reeves, for example, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and even A Beautiful Mind. And even the Hulk. She brings to the table really a lot of value to the roles. And, to her credit, it doesn't matter whether it's a puppet show, musical, or a Academy Award-winning melodrama, or a sci-fi show. It's horror films and sci-fi shows are really great vehicles, I think, for actors and actresses, because they can really go to town with the characters, explore intense emotional situations like fear and things like that. Playing opposite monsters, whether they're invisible like green screen monsters or puppets or whatever, animatronics. And I've always been amazed at how actors can really take on that ability, and you know, like a big fan of Mara Corday from A Giant Claw. And if you've seen A Giant Claw, you'll understand that you have to be a good actress to find that scary. She's also in Tarantula and The Black Scorpion. So she's no she's no newbie as far as playing against monsters. So it's really, you know, it's a hard job to be, to show that level of commitment, that level of fear. You know, what's scary about it? A puppet, a giant bird, a buzzard, nothing. And yet, you know, she sells it. They were very good. I don't know why they don't win Academy Awards. I think it's because of the Academy doesn't like that genre. I mean, if you look at Sigourney Weaver's performance in Alien, you know, was stellar. Was wow, it's awesome. Okay, so there's a lot of caterpillars going on here. It's her trademark, so you know, you change your trademark at your peril, which few actresses have found. Actually, it sort of alters their face. It was another Jennifer from Flashdance, I think. Not Flashdance, from what's that film? Put Baby in a Corner. Dirty Dancing, and she changed. She had some work done. Changed her face, and it's almost like she had to start again her career. Okay. Because we get used to these elements, you know, on screen. And the screen is not about selling perfume. It's not sort of, you know, an overdone persona, sort of a perfect coiffured image like a perfume commercial or something like that. These are people that we're invested in to help sell the show, help sell the movie, make the monster scary. Because if it's not believable, we're cheated. We feel cheated. Pencil's really good for describing here. I've said that before, but you know, look how fast this is. I'm smashing it. Oops, be careful, don't turn the pencil to the side so much as you get a wider stroke. Now I've got some flyaway here, which I'm using in some form of, it's a decorative fashion, I guess. And other elements I'm not sort of, I'm going to tame. Let's see what we're happening here. Okay. Quite like that. I'll leave that highlight up there, I think. And then I'll fill this in a bit more, make it more dramatic. So I'm kind of picking and choosing from the photograph what to do, which is not what you would do when you do something more realistic. So, you know, I'm kind of free to explore other possibilities. Cool. Okay, so it's quite dark here. That's good. We can thicken the lines around the lower face. She's got a lot of muscles around her mouth. Again, she's an actress, so you would hope that that would be the case, because that means that they're using their gifts. Okay. It's really good in Snowpiercer. Most of the role just requires just that, you know, standing around looking. That's it. Looking serious. So a look that speaks volumes. That's what Snowpiercer, a lot of the actors do that in Snowpiercer. Love those eyebrows. Great. Now, let's see if we can organize these. Right amount of black. Okay, I think I haven't finished the shape inside the ear, and I'll need to warm that a little bit. Why is that there? It's not supposed to be that line. Let's see if I can get rid of that one. It's a bit better. Okay. All right, nearly there. So the black is there to go over the brown, like to help the brown establish a little bit more contrast. But the idea is to use the brown pencil to really create all the form that you need. So light and shade and lines that shouldn't be black. You know, we're not working in pen, so we can be quite subtle. Okay. Some tiny lines that are coming into the nose. Tiny lines going out from underneath the eye. Some shading coming down from the brow. Cool. Almost. Not quite. Almost. What's going on here? There's a... I don't think I've given it enough modelling this end. Shouldn't rush this too much. I've changed the positioning of one of the elements here, and what's happened is it's created a disjoint between the rest of this rhythm. So I'm just going to, I just moved it like a millimeter to the left, and that sort of seemed to fix the problem. All right, okay, here we go. It shouldn't be that dark. So there's lines, muscles and lines that indicate, you know, her role as, like, she's a speaker, performer. She's got well-defined mouth muscles and supporting structure. So the supporting cast of a voice actor or an actress is all these muscles around the face. So you get these muscles that pull the mouth, you know, for opening and for smiling, etc. But you get all of these muscles here that traverse it, right? They go from the chin to the nose. And all of the, and also the muscles around this area too. So the other end, the width of this. The muscles where it starts at the corner of the mouth and extends into the cheek itself. And then it becomes, you know, pulled by the other transverse muscles. She's quite sharp, this shape in her mouth. Right, I have the basic structure here with the brown pencil, but I just feel that I need to establish more clarity. So you do that with the brown pencil a little bit, and obviously the black pencil will help more. Cool. So continue some of the shapes. So I keep looking back and forth to find the right angles for these lines. You know, keeping in mind that you're building up the details here. Very important to make sense. So the details have to be, it's like a caricature of the head and then a caricature of all of the smaller elements of the face. So try to keep everything proportionate, not proportionate, but everything detailed correctly. So the lines are very important. The angles, the individual lines, the individual angles, smaller elements of the face. Alright, let's see if I try to fix these with the black pencil. Let's get this going. Just a little bit now, just helping out the contrast here. Okay. So I don't want to outline the teeth because that just gives it too much separation. Gives it too much separation. So use the brown. The brown pencil is there to give you a subtle form of line work, as well as, you know, helping with establish the tone, the form, sorry. The tone is already there, 50% probably, or 40%, 45%, which is the grey paper. So not working on white paper to have to, you know, continually build up an uptone. I'm actually meeting it halfway. So 50% of the way, which is good. So I'm not guessing the shape of the teeth. They're very important. I need the right amount of details. That's good. You could exaggerate the teeth even more if you wish, but it's really up to you. Might be the wrong emphasis. So I've changed this sort of, I've created this this shape, and it seems to work all right. We'll see. Anything can happen. Okay, let's try to fix this line up a little bit better. great tendons. She's quite a thin, sinewy actor. Very athletic. Okay, so far so good. Might help that with a black brush pen. In a second, I think I'll fill that in too. Actually, the hair down there and somewhat down here too. See what I can establish. So I'll fill that in. Good. Okay. Just fix up this ribbon a little bit better. Clean that up a little bit too while I'm there, why not? Put some shadows there too. Okay, so we're going to do some. Let's do some white pencil. Build up some of the makeup, some of the metallic or sparkle or whatever it is. The lightening makeup over the top of her lids. She's got quite, you know, she can have quite extreme makeup, very goth, very dark, pale skin, dark eyeliner. She's done that a few times. This is, I think, working quite well. It's sort of a nice effect. Right, so use the white pencil just to build up highlights here and there, not over the whole thing. You're not colouring in, but you're just establishing more differences between the grey tone, just building up a little bit of lighter form. So obviously referring to the light source, which is coming in from above, mainly from the left. So it's quite noticeable next to the shadow. There's also a bit of shine there. There's also, oh yeah, we'll put the shine there. We'll fix it up with a white Posca in a sec. Careful of the discoloring the white pencil too. Whenever you go over the black, be careful. It can travel. Okay. Put a bit of white in her eyes a little bit. Remember, the white of the eyes are just really called the white of the eyes. Most of the time they're not white at all. She's got quite light toned eyes. So that just gives it enough, I guess, velvet. Use a brush pen to fix up the contrast of the black. Black pencil is quite strong, but sometimes in some areas you might need a bit of help. Probably on the eyebrows as well. Maybe yep. Yeah, there's quite a lot of shadow coming in from the left, formed by the hair, by this bang, long bang that's coming forward. So it's actually forming quite a lot of shadow over her face. But I'm going to ignore some of it. This actually means there's two lights coming in on the left. Or two, could be flashes from cameras. I get the impression this is a catwalk. You know, one of those photo ops for the Snowpiercer show or something else, or a movie. So it can be a bit daunting, you know, having such a beautiful face to change, have to caricature, you know, because you don't really know how much is too much in these situations. But really it's just a matter of finding some balance that is interesting for you. And you know, the more you look, obviously that's it's a nice well, it's a nice task, but the learning process about, you know, drawing the face, it's different every time. You learn something new. That's what I was going to say in a roundabout way. You learn something new. That's good. Good. Yep. You have to be careful how much how much white you put in. Be careful also about smudging. Especially the black. It will move, it will smudge. It's quite stable, but you know, again, the longer you put your hand on that painting, on that drawing, the more it has a chance to move that pigment. So just be careful. Err on the side of caution. Do. Put a light here. So you look at the values in the photograph and you respond appropriately to that. So, but think about them, what they mean. Is this a form catching light? Is this something that's shiny? You know, so don't just sort of arbitrarily, slavishly follow the reference photo. Just think about it as you go. And if you want to exaggerate something for an effect, by all means, do that. So smooth this out a little bit here. Soften this. It's a lot of pigment up in that area, but I think we might leave it for now. Okay. See if I can get any ink out of this. Yep, good. All right, so this is a Zig brush pen. The pigment is in the handle. You just sort of squeeze it out. I'm just helping the black pencil a little bit because just to establish a little bit more drama, I think would be good. Maybe help with the outlines. All right. I'll fill in most of this because I think it'll be handy to have that drama. Because her hair is very dramatic. It's a very dramatic part of Jennifer. don't know how I'm going to do that. I might just try this. It's a paint pen, but I'll try it working my way down from the top. Okay. So most of this is like colouring in at this stage, but try to keep an eye on what's actually going on over the whole piece, because you're creating essentially areas of negative space which are going to impact on the drama of the illustration. This is a Posca pen, which they're really nice. You can colour in like this, and it doesn't go through the paper. It's not like a spirit alcohol-based marker. It's a paint pen. All right, so let's see if I can. Probably going to use a thicker marker for colouring in this area, so all of this will be done with a blacker pen. Thicker pen. Because it's a thick pen, I don't want to leave too many thin lines that it might wreck. So black against black, you learn to tolerate this. You're going to lose a little bit of the profile, a little bit of the detail from, you know, the edges, but just keep away from it, sort of don't blend it in, so that you're just kept with the outline. Yeah, okay, so go a bit closer up here, down there, fill it in with the black thicker one. Got a nice chunky Posca. So we'll use that. I quite like this. Because she's got black hair, I probably should have used a white background rather than black, but oh well. Can live with it. So it looks streaky, but I promise you it will flatten out. It's just streaky because it's wet. It does go flat. It's actually, I'm very happy with it. I'm much happier with Posca than it would be normally with something like a, Indian ink or a calligraphic pen. This the ink in these are sort of a calligraphic ink. All right, let's try to get a few highlights. Actually use this as a brush pen, which is a little bit softer. Yeah. It's good. So far, so good. Yeah. So great in a lot of films, except the one that she won an Academy Award for, which I don't like because it's made me twitchy. I don't like films that have that sort of descent into madness, like Serpico. It's not so much madness. It's the drama just gets too much for you. It's like Serpico, the drama, just over the top. N-N-I-F-E-R C-O-N-N E L, just to make sure. There's different spellings. It's quite nice, I think. She's got some beautiful textures in her face. And of course, those iconic features, which I've exaggerated, obviously the mole on her lip and her eyebrows. But they're quite stunning. They're really, really beautiful. She's such a incredibly iconic actress. So that's my take on the very beautiful Jennifer Connelly. Let's go back to the photograph that I was working from. This one here. This is the before. This is the after. And this is Frantz Kantor saying to you, I will catch you on the flip side.